you can't expect someone to know certain etiquettes about life.
I had a friend in Brooklyn, had a lot of businesses, whatever. He wouldn't even let you take him 7 blocks, and he would just put the money on the dashboard. Or just put, that's how he lived. That's how he felt. Nobody could do anything for him without him giving like that. But in my way of thinking and the way that I am, I assume people think that I'm smarter than I am, because a lot of what people would consider complex issues, I seem to have a handle on. So they just assume that the simpler things must be cake to me. So if I don't do the simple stuff, then they figure it was on purpose. But a lot of the simpler things, I miss it, because I'm always looking someplace else. So they get beyond me.
Yeah, I can see that with you.
Back in the days, I used to travel around the country and the world. And in particular, in Texas, I had a lot of friends who would take me from point A to point B. Sometimes they would go an hour, hour and a half. At one point, I'm traveling between Galveston, Houston, Killeen, Dallas, Austin, so on and so forth. And one of my friends came to pick me up. She shows up. She has her daughter with her. So on the way back, before we get to my hotel, I get her daughter like a tray of cupcakes, whatever. I thought it was a nice gesture, but what I'm not thinking about was I didn't offer her any gas money or anything for her time. And so she drops me off at the hotel. I take a nap. I wake up and the show was already going on. She was supposed to pick me up, so I'm thinking that something went wrong with her. So I'm calling her, she's not answering. I text her, she's not answering. The promoters, they can't lead the show, they're hosting it, they can't come pick me up. So I just go to sleep. Wake up the next morning, call, nothing, no text, nothing's being responded to, and there's no voicemails. So I go downstairs after I pack up, ask the people in the hotel about getting to the Greyhound station. They tell me there's a light rail. It's like a block away. Get on this light rail, and while I'm on there, I see that I could have taken that light rail the night before, right? It went right by where the show was too, but that's neither here nor there now. I go to the Greyhound station and buy my ticket. I'm waiting for the bus, and I get a text message finally from her, and she's saying that she didn't pick me up on purpose, that she left me on the hotel on purpose, that she's happy I missed my show, and she says that, you know, she knows I'm still stuck in the hotel, which isn't true because I'm in the Greyhound at this point, but she's like, I know you're still stuck in the hotel and you deserve to be stuck because you didn't get me no gas money. Never crossed my mind. If you're on the other side of it, that person can be as wrong as they're gonna be. But the fact is, if you need these resources, you be better off to ask for them.
Yeah, but no, you should know. I don't care if you got $5, offer them $3.
But if the person doesn't, you need to ask. Instead of walking around like somebody just stole your bike. But what about the fact that I have taken people places, I've taken people 4-5 hour journeys. I didn't even ask them for no gas. I mean, I figure if they are artists, they're living hand to mouth, whatever they're selling books or CDs or whatever they're selling to make a living. It just seemed kind of crazy to me to ask them to take money out of that to put into the gas tank. But if I needed it, if I needed it, I would ask.
Yeah, well, some people aren't. Some people are afraid to ask for what they want, to really speak up for what they truly need.
There are people who you can't give hints to, right? There are people you really need to tell, like, look, man, this is what's up. Yo, you need to come up off some gas money. Like, that's what I respond to. And there are stories of business people who are multimillionaires now who started off broke, and their secret was letting people know what they wanted. In some cases, some of them cats was calling people every day, day after day after day, didn't take no for an answer. It's important. You have to let people know what you want. And in the case of like that market video I did that ended up being in BET on that show The Five, and they were like, this is the #1 thing you need to know. They played it before the BET Awards. The documentary channel was playing the whole What Black Men Think. So when Jenks Morton first brought the idea to me, he contacted me 2 or 3 times. But sometimes you have to hit people multiple times, particularly if they ain't your close family. But anybody else, you might have to ask me a few times. So I'm not saying I was right in that story I told you, but what I am telling you is that you do need to tell people what you want from them. and that'll help you get it. So in the case of the story, for instance, my first thought when I saw her text message was, I got money from other shows. I started to tell her, like, text her back, come back. I didn't think about that. Why don't you come through? I'll give you gas money for the week or whatever she needed. And in the end, I just didn't even respond to the message because she never asked. And if her heart was in a place where she was happy I missed the show and she thought I'm still in the hotel and I can't get back to where I'm going, and she's cool with that, then that wasn't somebody I felt should be a friend anyway. But a lot of that could have been circumvented. Don't assume people know what you need. You gotta speak up for yourself. I'm speaking primarily now for the person that ends up not getting what they perhaps deserve. You need to assert yourself. You need to ask for it.
I do agree with that. You do need to ask. But I remember a time when I didn't ask for what I wanted. And it was only out of something inside me not being strong enough to ask for what I desired, you know what I mean? Or what I deserve.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's something inside that person that can't speak up for their own self. When you go to someone's house for the first time, I understand you bring a gift, bottle of wine, a plant, something. But not everyone knows that.
We used to just show up. We would show up and then people be like, yo, where you headed?
Right.
But we was headed to their house.
Yeah, you head out the door. That should be an unexpected given. You should just know you can't expect, and that's another thing. What I didn't realize is common sense isn't as common as you think it is.